to all the workers in Nigeria. Now, we want to look at the workers' plight and the role of civil society organizations. And we have someone who has been in the forefront, all right, for workers in Nigeria. He has actively, helped a lot of workers in Nigeria to handle their cases, has participated in so many protests. He has been in the forefront for Nigerian workers, not just Nigerian workers, but for all Nigerians because he's a human rights activist. We have today a conflict resolution expert and public commentator and a human rights activist in the person of Kachi Gerard. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I think I should be saying Happy Workers' Day.
Yes, Happy Workers' Day to you and to our workers as well.
All right. Well, ordinarily, if you were not here, where would you have been right now?
Of course, I will be at Eagle Square, observing what is going on. And then I also intend to visit a Kuje Correctional Facility to see some persons there.
Okay.
So I have already scheduled activities, but here we are.
That's true, because we actually wanted you on this very program because you've interfaced for a lot of workers in Nigeria. So what do you think, based on your experience, what are the plights of Nigerian workers?
It's so, in fact, it's uncountable. The plight of Nigerian workers are uncountable, and especially just opposite to the government that is always throwing propaganda whenever issues of Nigerian workers being brought to the table. You recall, as of today, we are made to understand that the minimum wage of a Nigerian worker is 70,000 naira. But then, as at the time that minimum wage was negotiated or agreed upon, a lot of things, for example, the fuel pump price was still below 500 naira. And then you look at electricity tariff, it was between 66 naira. That's the highest we have then. But after it was agreed upon that 70,000 naira, we have seen that it appears like you use one hand to give, you use the other one to collect even more than. As of today, there's no place you can say you get a price of PMS less than 900. Electricity tariff is above 250 naira per unit, depend on the band where they put you. You understand? You look at the transport, even while they negotiated, Nigerian workers were informed that they will benefit, that the price of transportation to work and other things will reduce because of innovation of compressed natural gas and health care and subsidies they promise that they will give them, including wage award. But today, there's no place. We use FCT as an example. The same cost of transportation when they remove subsidy and hike fuel pump prices and other things, still what we are facing today. Even though that some of the transporters have converted their vehicles to CNG. Even the government-owned buses that are using CNG, they're supposed to set the pace, lead by example. You understand? If, for example, somebody is moving from Secretariat to Nyanya, Kubwa, Zuba, Buhari, as a case study, you say, okay, before the commencement of a CNG program, they are using, for example, 1,000 naira or 800 naira to go to Cuba, and you are bringing CNG buses. There's supposed to be a subsidy. Say you are collecting maybe 300, 250. That will force down other private-driven transport businesses to come down at least to low up to 400 or 5, the case may be. But that's not the case. So it becomes, the more you look, the less you see. The plight is so enormous, it's uncountable. Just recently, a few days ago, we saw early year workers, those at the local government, the area council level, that are teachers at the primary schools, staging a protest at the office of FCT minister. They have been owed. There's no time in the life of this administration. There's no time that LEA do not issue threat to go to strike or go to strike. In the last term of, I think the second term, they refer to those primary school. They're supposed to have either 13-week calendar or either 14-week calendar. More than half of it we are used on strike. They only return to see how they can manage and do examination just 1 week. So the plight is so enormous, and that is where leadership comes in. Leadership in the sense that, you know, any leader, governor, president that is unable to take care of the workers' welfare should be shown the door. If he cannot resign, there should be a monumental mass protest that will force him out of office. I will use a case study in Kogi State. There was a time they had a governor, Yaya Bello. The workers were struggling to get their salary. Some we are collecting on percentage. But the current administration now, led by Ododo, is something else. Either they pay between 24th or thereabouts. Every month they pay, and they pay full. In the same party, in the same set of persons, because Ododo is appointed and anointed successor to. You understand what I'm saying? So you say it's the same people, the same party. It depends on the leadership, the person in charge. You have similar thing in Rivers State, where Wike was doing wonders in the infrastructure, but the welfare of the workers is a problem. And, so, and he was taking care of the welfare of the workers. So, in a nutshell, for Nigeria to have a monumental progress or development with speed of light, welfare of the Nigerian workers should be a priority. It shouldn't be secondary. Because we are not making it a priority, we are always want to play to the gallery, especially for the ruling elite, the politicians. They want so that you start counting for them. I achieved this, I achieved that. You understand? In the eyes of the people, because if you put percentage of the Nigerian workers, it's not up to 10% of the population. So they always want to be on the good side of the people, that they develop this, they do that, thereby relegating the welfare of the Nigerian workers. But it has a way of fighting back. Just this week, we learned that the student loan scheme of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu program, there were complained that over 50 schools, in one way or the other, find a way to support, take care of their own support with regards to inflating what they are not supposed to collect. Finding one name or the other. And I'm telling people, it's not just only in the tertiary schools. Even these LEA that are on strike, because of the frustrations they face, you know, generally we are meant to believe that we have free education at the primary school level, and some to an extent post-primary, that is junior secondary. And some states, they do up to senior secondary. But then, you observe that those areas where they have these free educations, they are not free educations, and they are not taking care of the welfare of the teachers or those managing the free education. They find a way to take care of themselves. If they don't find a way to exploit through PTA, they will target development levy, or they target examination levy, or sport. They will just find one terminology to extort money, to get money that will take care of themselves. They will tell you it's projects, but behind the project is their own welfare.
Oh, all right. Looking at all of this now, you've interfaced with a lot of workers in the past. Now, today is Workers' Day.
Yes.
And of course, some states are still clamoring for the minimum wage. Now, as it is, looking at workers' welfare, is there anything, all right, what is the role of the civil society organizations, all right, in this whole thing? Because most times you hear of the civil society organization, take for instance, SERAP suing the president, SERAP suing this organization. A lot of other civil society organizations that we don't even know, all right, that are there, that fight for these people. So as it is right now, how much of the impact, all right, of these civil society organizations have workers felt in Nigeria?
You see, because of politicization of things and divide and rule methodology of the current government and even previous government, it has created a lacuna by which they used to operate. Because I believe if both civil society and organized labor are united in their pursuit on anything, they will achieve it. Nothing will stop it. But because there's interference with regards to things like that, you begin to see pro and counter. For example, when they were negotiating the minimum wage, we the Civil Society, my organization, Initiative Against Human Rights Abuse and the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, they both stand with the working masses, and we are making a demand that the least a Nigerian worker should collect is 250,000 naira. And we are together with the organized labor until blackmail, intimidation setting. At the end of the day, the organized labor, we are, pushed to the point that they don't have option than to collect a measure 70,000 naira as a minimum wage. And today we have seen deflation. Meaning that we must and we shall, except we renegotiate and do things that can take home a Nigerian worker, we shall continue to see bribery, corruption, manipulation, padding, what have you. You can't take a Nigerian worker with all these issues of social welfare package they promise. Remember, why they negotiated, they promised a lot of subsidies in food, health, education, etc., etc. How many have gone to filtration? It was once we heard last year that they are reducing the price of 50 kg of rice for a Nigerian worker. That was around Mbamut last year. And it becomes conditional. You understand?
I think that was even meant for civil servants.
Yes,
like we were meant to understand.
Even civil servants, if we have 100 civil servants in Nigeria, believe me, up to 70 did not collect that, did not get that.
So where did this rest go to?
That is where we need to be honest to ourselves. Federal government of Nigeria, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, can be honest and sincere in his agenda. But those implementing it, you recall there was a time they did palliative, advent of after COVID-19. Palliative that even those at the humanitarian ministry were claiming that they were feeding school children that we are at home, even amidst lockdown. But at the end of the day, they claim that in fact some of the officers in that government, we are seeing on different media boasting that there's no household that have not gotten palliative or collected palliative, that people are raising false alarm and so on and so forth. By the end of that 2020,
did you get?
Where now?
I didn't get either.
But I know people that got where I live. And okay. They claim that they are targeting vulnerables. But they are actually not vulnerables. What they did was, if you're a member of a ruling party, that is APC, the chances that you get are there. Notwithstanding, those monarchs, those ones they brought through the monarchs, the traditional rulers, actually get to the vulnerable because they know them. But what I'm trying to say is that if for example, federal government release 100 bags of grain with regards to that palliative, what got to the public is not up to 40. And we never knew. And they were hitting their chest because they know the number of things they release. They release through the National Assembly, through the state, through the local government. So they know what they did. Not until when we had NSAS protests around October, that same year, you start seeing people busting warehouses. Those things they claim they have shared.
But do you know what?
We are back.
Comrade, something even amazed me that period. I was wondering how were they able to know that there were palliatives in those warehouses that were broken up?
You see, there is no way water will drop from the sky that the ground will not know. It's not possible.
That's a big parable. Right?
You understand? It's just like, you know, there's no way. You can deceive some people sometimes, but not all the people. There are even those among them that are working for them that are not happy with the way their organs are treating them and the entire nation. But they are just looking for slight opportunity to express it. Take, for example, it is a condition today in Nigeria that no law enforcement agency will embark on strike, no matter whatever you are seeing in your place of work.
Because they're part of the system too.
You understand? Not just part of it, it's part of the conditions of the job. You can't protest. Now, but we saw what happened last year during End Bad Governance protests, where they charged a lot of protesters for treason, treasonable felony, etc., etc. They claim that they fly a Russian flag. But if you watch some of the clips that we saw last year, you saw even Nigerian police force also flying the same flag. It's not difficult to identify them. But they didn't go after them. They are looking for those they will use as a scapegoat. You understand? So, in every setting, including Nigerian police force, Nigerian army, civil defense, immigration, they are facing what we are facing. The hardship, the inflation, but how to cry out is a problem.
Okay, our time is fast spent right now. Let's quickly look at some very punchy areas as it has to do with defending the rights of the Nigerian workers, the plight of Nigerian workers. As it is right now, we're talking about civil society organizations and organized labor like the NLC, the TUC, and like your own organization too. Yes. Now, we've had a lot of protests. Have there been results recorded from this protest?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's uncountable. In fact, it's because of these industrial actions, call it protests, and what have you, other mechanism they use. That is why we are able to even see the Patri 70 minimum thousand naira wage. If not, the governors we have, that many of them make themselves appear like a demi or semi-god, are not ready to pay more than 35,000 naira. You understand? Even the minimum wage we have today, that is 70,000, and even though there are states that are paying more than 70, some are still struggling to pay it. Enforcement lies on the organized labor. But because of interference, divide and rule, they are struggling with it. So protests or industrial action have led to a lot of things that made us to achieve a greater part of things. If not for this organized, for example, if you recall, before now we have been facing issues of police brutality, harassment, intimidation, name it, and go on and go, assault, torture. It was as a result of protests against police brutality that checkmated some of the things we normally used to see police with. Today, you can hardly go to any checkpoint and see police searching your phone. That does not mean they are not searching. But then it was a rampant thing that once you accustom a checkpoint and they want to make money, they start searching everybody's phone. If they finish searching back, they call it stop and search. they will dabble into phone. If they see things,
but is that lawful?
No, it's not lawful. It's a product of strike and protest, industrial action that put a stop to it.
Okay, now they don't do it. They don't do it anymore.
It's limited. It's minimal.
So why?
So if you see anyone that indulges in it, complain. Lodge your let us know. We will take it up.
All right, because
you understand?
Yes.
Now, you look at issue of police dabbling into civil matters, making it criminal matters, criminal offences. Wherein a department that set up for anti-robbery and kidnapping like SARS, we even dive into debt recovery, land disputes, family issues, and etc., to cause harassment, intimidation, to coerce people. They were put in check. They were reduced. So we have achieved a whole lot of things, but we still have big rules to achieve even more.
Okay, our time is already up. Before I finally let you go, do you also believe that the Nigerian Labour Congress, the NLC, is not as effective as it used to be? Because some Nigerians are complaining that most times they don't get a good representation like it used to be during the times of Adams Oshomole.
It depends. I do not agree or subscribe to that. In fact, I must say, without missing word, that this current organized labor led by Joe Ajero and Usifo.
Usifo,
yeah. I think
Festus. Yes, Festus Usifo.
I want
TUC.
Yes, I want to use the opportunity to congratulate him for getting re-elected back by his union. You understand? Because he has been outstanding. If you look at their leadership, their engagement, it's better than the ones they inherited on. The ones that their predecessors, the immediate predecessors, this particular two set of gentlemen, their leadership has been wonderful. In fact, you recall that that time you said that Adams Oshomole was outstanding. He was getting beaten at every given opportunity. He will get beaten, they will draw him on the floor, the following day they will release him, and the struggle will continue. Similarity has been seen with Joe Ajero. He went to Imo State to enforce this minimum wage. He was beaten black and blue. He was flown abroad for treatment. In fact, it's because of his doggedness that made any little thing that happens, they want to link the organized labor, especially NLC, to it. The end bad governance protest that took place in August last year, he was accused of financing terrorism. If not the way they responded, they would have used him as a scapegoat. You understand? Even though in this situation, there have been interference, there have been these using tribalism, religion, and what have you, to do divide and rule in that leadership.
All right.
But they are doing their best.
Okay,
then,
I think...
then the best is not good enough. They should close ranks to see how they can, get civil society to, join them in the struggle. Most times, nowadays, at least they have seen from experience, the end bad governor did not participate, but they were linked. You understand? Even when we carried out protests against police brutality, they did not join. But Nigerians, before then, it was until organized labor called for industrial action before anything meaningful can happen. Now it's showing that Nigerians on their own can organize through civil society and express their dissatisfaction about things that are happening.
Without NLCs involved or not.
So I think is that they should stay away from this intimidation and fear that is always they used to frame up against them, and stand on what is right. And if they stand on what is right, no matter how they intimidate or they try to search skeletons in their cupboard, they will succeed.
All right. Our time is up. I would have loved us to talk more because talking about NLC is not something we can exhaust today, just like Nigerians are actually very optimistic. Today is Workers' Day, and we've been talking about workers all the day. Well, first discussion was about the labor law and the right of the Nigerian workers. And now we just talked about the workers' plight and of course the contribution, the effort, and what the civil society organizations have been able to do interfacing between the workers and the authorities concerned. And we had someone who is an expert talk to us, and a human rights activist, and of course is also someone that interfaces with Nigerian workers. A very big thank you, comrade, for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me. And you know, just like we are celebrating workers, today also happens to be my wife's birthday.
Well, happy birthday to you, madam.
I use the opportunity to also celebrate her, you know. Always every
So
festival,
her birthday is colliding with the workers.
oh yes, oh yes.
All right.
We will certainly celebrate it.
All right, many thanks for joining us, everyone, from everywhere in the world. This is the end of Global Morning today. Global Morning will be coming on your way again tomorrow. Remember that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. On social media, we are on Facebook, we are on X, and also on Instagram. And don't forget that you can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app on all your iOS and, of course, your Android devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Many thanks for joining.